Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Cody from Cody's Crochet and welcome to this very crafty vlog where we will try mosaic crochet. I've had a TikTok go semi-viral, got a lot of views, a lot of comments about people telling me how easy it actually is and that I should totally try it. And today I will. I will hopefully get a project out of today. I've never tried mosaic crochet. I've only looked at it and went like, witchcraft. But I totally want to try it. It looks really interesting. And again, people told me it's actually easier than I think it is. So let's get into it. I will be using tutorials from Jessie. She has a lot of videos on mosaic crochet because she's the mosaic crochet queen. She has a lot of patterns like jumpers, bags, and I will hopefully make an AirPod case with a tutorial she has on a YouTube channel to try to get into this whole mosaic crochet over, under, behind, in front of system. So I'm excited to see how this turns out. But the first thing we will do is pick out the colors I want to use for this AirPod case. I have found my colors. I will be using a primarily blue palette with a little bit of white. First we have this multicolored blue. It has various shades of blue as well as some white specks running through it, and I really like this yarn. I usually use it to make my stingray keychains, but for today we'll use it for an iPod case. Then I have this very strong royal blue. I really like it. It's really pretty. And I've never really used it for anything, so let's use it today. And tying in a little bit of a darker blue, I have this shade right here. It's a very dark, nearly black blue. And I also didn't really use it for anything else, so... And then I just have this scrap skein of white. The store that I was buying it from closed, so that's the only thing I have left. This is Contessa, I think. Yeah, right here. You can buy it online, I think, but I used to buy it in person. But again, the store closed down. Anyway, white. Grab my AirPods for reference right here. And we might not use all of the colors, but I just picked them out in case we do need them. I'm not quite sure how I want to plan the colors yet, but we'll see. Before I get into making the AirPod case itself, I will be watching her tutorial how to mosaic crochet in the round. Because again, I've never done this before, so I will experiment a little bit with it and hopefully get something out of it, but we'll see.
For this kind of pattern, it is right for which row of the... So for this, essentially, it's there, but you kind of ignore it. So this is what it's going to look like really, but then you just know based on...
Okay, so far so good. We are starting with a chain, and she just explained all of the graphs and how they work, especially in the round. And I think I got it. Maybe. We'll see. I will continue from here, but so far it's a chain, we can do that. But I think after the chain it'll be a little bit more complicated, but we'll see. I worked the first round, which was just single crochets and joining the chain we made originally. So far this is just usual regular crochet, but the second round will now start, and that's the part with pattern starts as well. So cross our fingers I can figure this out. We attached our secondary color, and so far it's also just single crochets but in the back loop only, and I think I kind of understand where we're going with this, because then we'll work in the front loop and like cover parts of the round I'm doing right now, so that will create the pattern over the second round we're currently doing. This I already got. I understand that part. But yeah, we'll see if I keep understanding that part. Round number 2 complete. So far so good. But let's continue with round 3, which I think is the part that I might not understand. See, it makes a lot of sense actually. I just did the first thing, and what you basically do is just reach over the second round that we did, the dark pink, and you go from here in the front loops that we left here. Got it. It makes sense. It does. When you're actually doing it, it makes sense. I think when you're just talking and thinking about it and you don't really have a visual representation of it, it doesn't make that much sense, but I think I got it. Let me finish the rounds and continue, and then we'll see if I still got it. I finished it. Oh well, the round. I finished the round and I got it. That looks already very cool. And it's one of the more simpler designs. I think when you're doing like waves and really patterns, it's gonna look a lot cooler, but this already looks so cool. I like that a lot. I will continue with the pattern because there's still, I think, 2 rows left, or rounds left, to see how it looks a little bit further built up. But I like this. That's cool. The people were right. I should listen to the people more often. Her blue is my light pink, and her dark pink is her green. She did the row after, but didn't show it, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. I'm not quite sure what's going on here, honestly. I think she worked into the front loops of the dark pink. I think. I'm not sure. Again, she skipped it. Let me watch a few seconds more because she has a little section left, and let's see if I can figure it out from that little section she's doing right now. Let me check in. Yeah, okay, she skipped that as well. I will try to figure it out by the graph. I think I know how it works, but I'm not sure. It might work out. Hold on, let me try something. What I might have to do is do a double crochet in the front loop here, and then do a single crochet, and then do another double crochet in the one after that. Yeah, I think that's it, because then you have this tiny little window of the light pink. That's kind of how it looks on her thing. So I will do that and see if it works out the way it should. But I think this is correct. And it matches up with the graph as well. So that might be correct. But we will see. I finished the round and I think this is how it's supposed to look like. You have these tiny little windows of light pink in between them. And I think that's how it's supposed to be. And there's a 5th row, so let's see what that looks like. And then this is complete. And I hope I can find out how to work up the AirPod case. And our swatch is complete. I like it. And it worked out. I think I got how this works now. Kind of. And we might be able to make this AirPod case now. But yeah. This didn't take as long as I thought it would, because in my head Mosaic Crochet takes like forever. But that was solely based on the fact that I didn't know how it worked. And now that I do know how it works, this didn't take a lot of time. I mean, it's just a swatch for sure. But once you figure it out, it's kind of easy. I will say this now and then later not understand how this works again, but problem for future me. Jessie is continuously using these graphs for this one as well, and I see she has marked certain stitches with an X, which I think is for the spots where you do your double crochets, which makes sense because not every stitch is a double crochet, obviously. But I think once you've done it once or twice and really think about it, it does make sense. Meaning I will now switch to our blue yarn and the white and try to work up this AirPod case. We'll see how it works. This worked really well, so I'm hoping the AirPod case will work up pretty quickly and hopefully correctly as well. Let's get into it. I will now get started on our AirPod case. I will start with this variegated blue yarn right here. I did take the tiniest break and made myself a drink, but other than that, let's hope. Oh my god. Let's hope that we can finish this quickly and maybe even get into another project today. We'll see. There we go. Let's get into it. So far it is quite similar to the swatch we did. We just started working in the round and the first row was around a single crochet. So again, this is pretty similar, but the pattern is a tiny bit different because the AirPod case has more like waves going on instead of just like the squares with the dot in the middle. So it's similar in construction, but it has a different pattern. So I still hope I understand this, but as far as I'm concerned, this tutorial shows every round by itself and how it's worked out, I think. I hope. But we'll see. I just finished round 3, which is very similar to our swatch that we did, but the next round will be very different because now we will start making the waves. So I hope I can get this. So far I understand everything. And she's going through the pattern, like the graph, pretty step by step, so that you really understand it, even if you're new to it. And so far, it's good. The size is also good. It fits in comfortably. There's a little bit of space right and left. This row was actually similar enough. It was just shifted by 1 stitch, so it's really not that different from the other swatch that we did, and it does make sense. So far I'm following along pretty well, and I think I got the hang of the basic stuff. Looks pretty good. I also like the blue variated yarn a lot. I like this yarn a lot, especially the parts where it's like with these white specks. I love that part and I'm always very excited when it comes up. But let's get into the next few rounds and finally make some waves. And our waves are complete. They look so cool, I love that. I will not make as many rows as she will because mine are not as tall. Like I will make 1 more repeat of the total pattern from the next round, or the next rounds, the next part of waves. And then that's probably it because hers are taller. I really like this. That's cool. And again, once you figured out the basics, it's pretty easy actually. Next round's complete. The setup is a little bit different because the pattern is a little bit different. Because as far as I'm concerned, for every graph that you do, everything is different. But we'll be working the double crochets now. These 2 are both rows of single crochet, but we'll now work the doubles and the singles in combination to make the other waves. It's similar to the other ones, they're just rotated 90 degrees, so they're like this. But I'm excited. Let's keep going. We are nearly done. I just need to finish off the top and then sew it close to the bottom and add like the enclosure. But this looks so cool. Oh my god. It has very much Greek vibes and I love that. Very cool. I love mosaic crochet. Now that I know how it works, I love it. And the colors work really well together as well, especially since the blue has a tiny bit of white. New favorite crochet technique? Unlocked. Again, let's finish this off and add everything else, and then we're done. I had to cut and rejoin my yarn because it's suddenly gotten really thin. And I don't know if you can tell, but this is kind of purple and so much thinner, as you can tell, than the rest. I don't know why it's like that, but I really don't want my project to fall apart. So I cut my yarn and rejoined, because I will now add the top border, kind of, and the enclosure, which is just gonna be a loop of chains, and then on the other side matching an opening where you can feed it through and just hang it from like your bag, purse, whatever. But yeah, I will try to center it as best as I can. Like here ish. 1, 2, 3. So you have the loop here, and then on the other side you have a longer loop to put it through. So I'll do that, and then we'll sew up the bottom, and then we're done. This is the inside, by the way, which is literally just stripes, which makes sense, but it looks interesting. Oh, also, I didn't cut my yarn. I carried it up so that I only have very few ends to weave in, which is good because we don't like weaving in ends here. But yeah, cool, I guess. Let's weave in these ends and sew up the bottom, and then we have ourselves an iPod case. AirPod case, sorry, not iPod. iPod's something different. Let's sew. I sewed it up. You can really see it, but this is the inside, so it doesn't matter. I will weave these two ends in, and then we're pretty much done. Show you how it looks. You can see it. I don't know if I like that, but don't really have a choice with color changing yarn, do I? I could cut it and search for a section, but that's stupid, honestly. Yeah, but it does match the top, so it might be fine. I don't know. But you're not really seeing it when it's like this, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I like her little pouch. This is very cool. Yeah, let's weave in these two ends, and then we have ourselves a finished project. AirPod case complete. Let's actually put them in there. I like that. You can put that on your backpack, your purse, wherever else. That's cool. I like that. I am absolutely in love with the color combo, and this combination in combination with the pattern itself. This screams Greece. Not only, I'm realizing, because this is their flag colors, but also because of the patterns and the symbolism behind it. This is very, very cool. I will totally show this to my parents and my sister. Be like, I learned this. Thank you, Jessie. My first ever Mosaic Crochet project. And again, it didn't really take that long. Once you figure it out and understand the patterns and the repeats, it's pretty easy. If you want to make this yourself, link to the pattern is in the description, as well as cards wherever corner they show up in. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I finally learned a new technique and it looks very cool. I will totally make this again. Not just the AirPod case itself, but also generally patterns with this technique. And this was super fun. I love it. If you have any other suggestions for beginner projects I could do, or have patterns you want me to try, leave them in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you next Saturday. Bye bye.